those of you, if today is your first time on my page, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is the same name, Fanhudi Hotspot Show, and also follow the link, the Facebook channel. Today I have a big news, or I don't know, for those of you who has not heard. Ontario government is thinking about putting a cap on study permits, and this to you, the future students who wants to come to Canada. There's so many discussions within the government of Ontario. Good morning, my sister Josephine. There's so many discussions in Ontario regarding study permit. The reasons are because it seems like the year to 2022, 2023, many things has been in the news about study permit, and those things were not good news for Canadians who are living in Canada. So it's not because it's not good for the government, but you see, in Canada, the government listens to the Canadians, they listen to the public. Public poll means a lot to government making laws or making changes to processes and also practices that happens in Canada. And because of that, the news that has been going around, including many of the videos that we have made, I have made some yesterday. I spoke about the fact that the Canadian government are looking at putting certain laws in place to ensure that students who comes here do not end up being stranded like they are right now, because there are no accommodation. So they want to make sure that everybody is satisfied and also safe and can live in this country, whether you are visiting or whether you are a family sponsorship or as a student. You will live here without any struggle. So that is with the same reasons why the government of Ontario is looking at capping the study permits. So what does it mean to a student? Of course, it means that any year that you are applying for study permit, if within a specific time, if you don't do it earlier, they may refuse you, not because of something that your paperwork did not meet or any requirement that you didn't meet, but it is because there's a cap on study permit in Canada, because the government is talking about that. Now, what does it also mean? The Canadians are also complaining about if the government caps study permit, it means that the universities and colleges are now going to depend on raising tuition fees. What does that mean? Let me just explain to you. In the 80s, a chunk of money that the universities and colleges received to operate were coming from the government. A chunk of money. About 80% of their fundings comes from the government. Now, getting into the 2000s, the government says there's no more money. You go find money. Remember when John Dramani Mahama wanted to build the Terminal 3? He told the aviation people, go find the money. The same way, they raised something, they tweaked something in the system. In Canada, it means robbing Peter to pay Paul. So when the government told us universities, go look for your own money, universities depended on international students, tuition being paid. International student pays about 5 times higher, no, actually about 4 times higher or 3 times higher. As a study that costs like a domestic student $6,300, it would cost an international student about $40-something thousand or so or more. Many of the students that were interviewed, some of them are paying $90,000. I personally, when my son was in Windsor doing his study in Windsor, Ontario, I personally dropped off a young man who was also doing his own study but visited his auntie in Toronto. So when I was visiting my son, the auntie asked me to drop off this little boy. A boy who's here studying some economics or something. The father owns a big company in Ghana. So obviously he's studying to go help the father. And guess how much the boy is paying? Each term, this boy is paying $49,000. Accommodation is different. This is tuition alone. If you start in September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, 9 months. A term is only 9 months. So imagine if you have to pay $45, $47, including accommodation, you are looking at somewhere between $900 to $1,200 per month. This young man, I calculated at that time, by the time he finished school, the father had already paid almost $200,000, which I told him, wow, you owe your dad a lot after you finish your education. And in fact, it is more right now. If you're going to do courses like economics and all those things, listen, it's what grows the economy. It's what grows a country. So it's going to cost you more depending on what courses you're coming to take. Now, the government is looking at capping, meaning the universities are no longer going to leverage on the tuitions that are coming from the international students, because international students gives them a heck. Listen, you and the domestic students are sitting in the same chair. You are sitting in the same classroom. The same professor is teaching you. The same dorm, the same rooms and places you are going to rent. The same books, the same textbook you have to use. Why is the international students are costing more? Because India alone, Indians tuition fee, 2 billion, they said, billion or something like that, to Canadian institution, schools, universities and colleges. Indians alone. Talk about Africans, Ukrainians, Chinese and all those people. So it is a huge cut that the Canadian government is, and it's a huge backlash. Whoever is looking into doing that, whatever government it is going to be a big fall for the government. What do they think? First of all, they told the Canadian schools, look for your own money. Now the Canadian schools also did their own shuffle, and they saw where the money could be coming from. And some of it, it's not by mistake that a lot of Africans are here on study permit. It's not by mistake, because the schools also need to make money. In fact, the schools have so much organizations. They hire students. Step a foot in York University, you see student that, student this. Step a foot in any of the universities here, the colleges, the same thing. They hire international students to do most of the jobs in the school. So they are saving themselves a lot of money. There's a lot of organizations that is being put up by the schools. School sponsors a lot of professionals, a lot of government personnel, a lot of diplomats, and all those money the schools actually sponsors in terms of scholarships, in terms of bursaries. A lot of schools has a lot of money for those things, and it's not because the government of Canada gives them. They cut down from the 1990s into the 2000s. They've cut it down. The government don't give more money to the schools anymore. So the schools has found a means to also support and keep the programs that they have and make it exciting and make it so an experience that many people like international students can also come and get in Canada, and also produces a lot of the workforce, the manpower behind the Canadian government. So whoever the government leg or whoever minister is talking about capping, there will be a lot of challenges put up from the universities, because a lot of the government answering to the workforce are coming from international students and students who are coming into the country. So if you're a student, future student, international student watching me right now, there's a lot of things on the ground. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of conversations. There's a lot of plans. There's a lot of works to do something about international students. First of all, they changed the rules. Now they've actually raised the expected money to have. Now they've been talking about capping since Toronto, Ontario, Canada saw the immense or the amount of students creeping into the system without accommodation. They started talking about, because again, people took it on the street saying they don't have accommodation. So there's this imbalanced conversation happening within the Canadian government, whether to produce and provide more accommodation. They are talking about building a lot of houses and make it affordable for people. The tax that is now Canadians has never paid 6%, okay, before on mortgages. Now they are paying 5%. Some of them are paying 4%, 3%. They used to pay 0.3%, 0.1%. It was so good in Canada that it was stable economy. Right now, the rent are skyrocketing. So there's a lot of talks in the system that you should know. What does it mean to you, the student who is coming to... Guys, share the video. Share the video. What does it mean to you as a student coming to Canada, planning to come to Canada? It means that if you were selling egg, now you have to add chocolate to it, so people can have egg and chocolate. And if you may add bread to it to make your funds more, because first of all, they just passed the law. Many of you are coming without accommodation. Many of you are coming without knowing anybody here. And those things is a lot of money. And most of you, if you don't have the money, right now that the government is verifying proof of funds and they've raised it, where are you think? Last time I did a video about who can be your proof of fund sponsor. Many in this country, listen, not everybody has OSAP, Ontario Student Loan. Not everybody provide. They give us so much loan in this country, so much loan in this country, from college, right from high school, from senior kindergarten, like junior kindergarten to high school, it is free. The minute you choose your profession, you want to choose what to do, you have to pay. And the government has funding for it, but you have to pay it back. Not every country has that leverage or opportunity. So if you want to, enjoy some of the leverage of Canada, then you have to come in a different manner. You have to come like a citizen. You have to come like a landed. You have to come with a permanent residence. You have to come with a sponsorship. You have to come with a job. You have to come with a job. When you come in with a job, then later on, you can now upgrade yourself to the level you want to be. I don't know if that level exists anymore in Ontario, because there's a cultural change, a shift in how these employers are even hiring their people. If you want to become successful in Canada, then you have to come with a job, then become a permanent resident, and then you'll be able to now leverage on some of the benefits, a lot of benefits when you are a country, when you are here legally, as well as if you have your permanent residence. So guys, listen, there are two things. Capping, raising the tuition funds may be possibility, because I've seen a huge jump. Back in the days, it was costing us only $3,000 to $2,900 and something dollars, $3,200. Now, even with the locals, with domestic students like myself, we are paying a hefty price getting a university or college courses. Many of these courses, I am taking my courses by course, one by one. I'm sitting here doing youth psychology and adolescent psychology. I'm a psychology student too. I am taking my courses one by one. Each course costs me $359. If I take two courses together, it is almost $800. So it is everybody, but it used to cost about $89 or something to take a course. I remember back in the days, the courses were so cheap. And then coming 2022, 2021, 2020, boom, all these tuitions gone up without any warnings. And of course, people are talking about inflations and all those things. So for you, the international student who is in Canada, it is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Trust me. The course that is costing me, by the time I finish, I will pay 6,000 and a change. You are going to pay the same course. If you are taking the same course from somewhere, if you are not a Canadian taking the course that I'm taking, it's mine is 6,000 and a change. I'm buying, and also the way they do it is that the materials are now online. They don't want you to even have the book. Guys, they don't even want you to have the books for you to pass it on. They give you an access, online access of a book, e-book. You can either buy an e-book. The e-book that only gives you an access for just like 2 years. The e-book itself is over $100, almost $200. So imagine if you have to buy the actual book, it's around 3 something. So guys, everything is so expensive. So I'm buying the e-book. The e-book only gives me access for the next 2 years. And I better make a good use of the e-book because, and you can't even copy it too. The e-books are online access. They give you a link. And what you do, you can access the book, but there is an expiration date. A book that I have purchased. All my books are e-book. And it's over $100. So you purchase the book. So Canada knows how to make money. The schools knows how to make money. Those writers, those curriculum writers, the people who are writing those books, the psychology book, social work book, social study, all these things, they are making it online. So guys, don't waste your money. Do a lot of homework. Make sure you have a lot of money. Make sure you have a plan. Make sure you know someone in a country. At least know someone. And when you get to make friends in a country, guys, remain a good friend in a country. Remain a good friend because a big surprise is coming in Canada. And the way it is going to be either beneficial to you. There will be a lot of benefit for someone like myself. In fact, there will be a lot of benefit. So when you come in, there are a lot of guidelines and also program that you have to follow. So if you are lucky enough to pass January 2024 and been able to be approved, and you come and you mess up, like I see a lot of students already doing, a lot of people are doing in this country. Listen, if you come here and you have to go back, that's a big boo-boo. In fact, you haven't seen anything. In fact, the blessings of God has now reached you here because you didn't see anything to remain in the country. If you mess up, break any laws or anything like that, it is such like breaking a law in Canada. It's like maybe you are a wicked person back in your country because there's so many things made available for you to leverage and also take advantage of that will help you. And some of these are making sure that you follow a process, you follow through a program, you're coming with a school. Don't mess up. Don't come and all of a sudden, I'm looking for work. I'm looking for work. If you're not ready, guys, be ready and coming. There's a lot of properties we have back in Ghana that can make us a good money in Ghana, in this part of the world if you need money. In fact, there's a lot of things. Many people are sitting on a lot of money back in Ghana or Africa somewhere, and you are not really sure. You cannot peek in a bottle with 2 ices. So there's either you choose one. You have to look at it in the next 10 years. Give yourself a goal. Give yourself a goal. Make a goal. In the next 10 years, what do I like to achieve? How would I look like? How old am I right now? For you to make a very, very difficult decision, either to sell something and come with the money, and don't let anybody influence that thought of yours. Because I've seen people who comes here and they go back, they never go back to what they left. Listen to me. Everybody who comes to Canada never goes back to what they've left. By the time they come and spend a certain years, whatever they left is too old for them. They need a new thing. So there's nothing you are going to leave back in your country that is going to be worth anything to you anymore. Because there's so much to achieve in this part of the world. So first of all, look at the amount of money you have to pay for tuition, the possible add-on because there's a lot of insurance. You have to pay for insurance when you're coming. For healthcare, you have to pay your food, the food you're going to eat, the clothes. We have a lot of weather, different weathers in this part of the world. The clothes, the jacket you need. You can't have a car, so you have to now chase the public limousines. What jacket do you need? How much is it going to cost you? Where do you shop? All these things are things you have to now look at, because if not, you come to Canada, the little money, there are so many beautiful things, the little money you have in your pocket, by the time you realize, you purchase yourself a nice jacket, a nice shoe, and you no longer have money. So there are so many places you can shop for a very, very good price. The same things, but good prices. You just have to now sort of navigate through the system. So you have to know, you have to be ready with your money. You have to know the time and season you are also applying for the school. What time is it? School time, the sections are September, January. September and January. Some start in April. You need to know all these things in order for you not to be left out, and for you to miss out on the opportunity that you may have in this country. So guys, this is the news. Good morning, my sister Eno. This is the news that I thought everybody should know. The government are talking about a lot of things. First is the changes of money you have to come up with, and also capping student visas. All these people making decisions at the immigration are listening to it. They are listening to the public. It influences their decisions. They are listening to the students also who are speaking, because a lot of students are also speaking about the fact that it is not fair for them to be picked on, okay? If a process has gone wrong, it is not fair. So I hope that the government listens to that, and also you don't be part of that decisions that the government is looking at making the changes into. So guys, just a little update for you. If you're looking for schools, I will advise you to go through the colleges. It is cheap, it is reasonable. Always keep communication open with the colleges. It should, in case you run out of money, keep the colleges informed. In this country, it's all about helping the needy. This country, it's about, their slogan is helping the needy.